You can find Cody at Popular Opinion YouTube. That's all one word on Instagram, and you should absolutely be subscribing to his YouTube channel. Cody, thanks for so much for doing this, man. It's just so great to get to meet you and talk to you a little bit, and just talk about our collections and Funko Pops in general.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's looking forward to it.
How did your collection start? I mean, you've got quite a collection behind you. Obviously, I've seen you on YouTube. You know, mystery boxes, all that stuff. What's the genesis of collecting? Maybe not Funko Pops, although we'll get to that, but just collecting in general.
Well, it's I didn't get into Funko Pops on purpose. It kind of just stumbled across them, and of course, we're probably like everybody else, wish we got into them earlier. But a lot of people know because I talked in live streams. I worked for GameStop for a very long time, from 2011 to 2018, and I was at a small store. And I think about 2014, we started getting Funko Pops in, and it was a Black Friday. I remember GameStop started getting it was like a 1 in 5 chance at like a gold. It was like Batman, Batgirl, the Fallout. And I was like, man, Batman's my favorite character. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. And they were new. I think I'd seen them, but I didn't really know. And I don't think a lot of people knew what it would become, even in 2014. But I ended up getting a few boxes. I picked up a few boxes trying to get the Batman. Didn't get Batman, but I got Batgirl. But it started there, and it just kind of eventually at my store, we got approved. We were one of the first stores in my state, because we were actually half of a Blockbuster where our GameStop was located. So we were such a big store. We actually got approved for a Funko section.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we were one of the first stores in my state. I'm in South Carolina, to have what they called, this was brand new at the time, it was a collectibles section. And all that was we would get Funko stuff in, we would get statues, different comic book statues, like shirts, all kind of stuff. And once we got that dedicated Funko section and I saw like all the stuff coming in, I think that's when I was really, really starting to get hooked on it then.
So, do you consider yourself a completionist? I ask that because you said you love Batman, and that's just impossible to complete all that. But just, do you consider yourself?
I would say no. I would say yes, because I tried to, but the two lines I was trying to keep complete were Rick and Morty and Stranger Things.
Good luck.
And Stranger Things that got ruined. And when Funko had their Funko days, and they did the 80 gold hoppers, that are worth about 4,000 now. So I can spray paint one gold, but that's not as fun. But no, it's okay. I just try to get the ones I like now, and if I could be 100% great. If not, I won't lose sleep over it.
What made you decide to jump to YouTube? I mean, you had this Funko Pop collection, obviously, but what made you kind of say, okay, I'm going to open these up online, I'm going to do lives? I mean, what was that path for you?
Yeah, I was just sitting around, just with my buddy at my buddy's house, and I was buying mystery boxes long before YouTube. I was buying mystery boxes, and I would make mystery boxes for people. Now, not necessarily people on YouTube back then, but I would go to all these Comic Cons and all this stuff, and I would do Funko mystery boxes and all this stuff. And we'd always do a pretty good job of selling them. And I was like, man, this is pretty good. I'm like, and then I started watching. I'm like, well, who's on YouTube? I didn't know anybody. So I always have advice for people. I'm like, look, anybody can do a YouTube channel, because I didn't know anybody when I started. And I just started looking stuff up. I was like, all right, let's just type in Funko and see what comes up. I'm like, because if I'm going to do it, I always knew if I was going to do YouTube, I had to do it my own way and put my own spin on it. And that's when my buddy, who has done multiple YouTube channels, if people have seen James on my YouTube channel, he's got a podcast. He has a green screen. He's like, well, dude, let's just do stuff with the green screen. And I was like, that would be cool. And I'm a big, I grew up on like Saturday Night Live and Living Color. I like the comedy shows. And at first, I was just going to do comedy videos and not Funko stuff. And then it was like, okay. I was like, we need to start. I was like, I got all this Funko stuff. We need to do Funko videos. So then I was like, well, how do we mix the comedy stuff in? And I was like, from time to time, we'll do like comedy style intros. And that's what I had the most. I had more fun probably doing the comedy intro stuff than just the unboxing.
So you mentioned In Living Color, which I haven't thought about in a while. That show was awesome when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So it just kind of sparked in my head, like, oh, they should make pops of that, which leads me to my question is, are there any lines that you'd love to see that haven't been created yet? I mean, I've got a few, but I want to get your take before I just go spouting off here.
Well, they literally, I had filmed the video. I was going to tag Funko in it. And this was, then they came out and said they were doing it. So I was like, okay, let's wait until they come out, because there's probably 3 off the top of my head. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. One of my other favorite comedy shows. Didn't think they'd make pops of that. So I was really surprised. So when they did that, I was like, okay, awesome. They still haven't done these. And a while back, I did a What If Funko Made Silent Hill Funko Pops. So I think they're missing out on that popular video game series. And I also, you might have to look this one up. Maybe you know this show. Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh yes. Yeah.
I love Meat Wad, Frylock, Master Shake, Carl.
Master Shake was my dude.
So that's a line. I'm thinking about just keep tagging Funko in that until maybe they'll eventually make them, because they make like off the wall stuff. I feel like Aqua Teen would do pretty good.
They do. My serious one would be Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, some sort of, because it was Black History Month in February, obviously. That was repetitious, and I couldn't do any kind of thing on my Instagram without really reaching, right? Like Michael Jordan or something like. I just couldn't, and I was like, wait a minute, why is there no? Right. So anyway, that's my serious one. My fun one is Spaceballs. I'd love to see a Spaceballs line where you have Dark Helmet and Lone Star and Barf and all. That would just be so hilarious. What you could do chases with Dark Helmet's mask up or down. I mean, you could do all kinds of stuff. So I'd love to see a Spaceballs line.
I'm shocked they haven't done that. They need to jump on that.
Yeah. We both do mystery boxes. You obviously were much more well versed than we are, but we both do mystery boxes. And I know from doing that, there's an art form to it, like putting them together and making sure that you're pulling out your collection, but not ones that you want to keep, et cetera, but still make them chaseable for everybody else. So you can't put a bunch of crap in a mystery box. So, what can you kind of walk us through your system and your process of doing that?
Well, I'll go through a lot of stuff and look through a lot of things. My collection, I'll go through and say, okay, I don't want it to be, all the same thing. If it's more than one pop, I don't want it to be 2 Marvel or 2 Iron Man. You mix it up.
Right.
And I want it to be, I tell people like, look, you got to understand that I'm not trying to get rich off mystery boxes. I was like, but there's a lot of time that goes into them. And some of them, like, if I can make a few dollars on some and make a nice, if I do one, and I've slowed down a lot, but if I do one, I like to put at least like $150 pop as the top hit. If I'm going to do one, and, I like to do low batch, low count, style, like 40 or less. I don't want to go over 40.
Yes. Agreed.
Because it gives you greater odds and of getting good stuff. And, I try to tell people like, look, I'm going to try to make them close, to the price point, maybe a few bucks off, but try to make sure it's a good mixture of pops. And I'm like, I try to think about it when I box them together. Like, if I got this box, would I like it or I think it's crap? And then it's like, if I thought it was crap, then we need to do a better job. And you know what? I've missed on stuff, and I appreciate people calling me out if I don't get it right.
But there's a other part of that too, though, right? Like when you say, if I got this box, because I do the same thing. When we pack a 2-pop box, if it's a hit or miss and there's a huge hit and there's 30 boxes in it where it's a low run, and there's going to be some $7 or $8 pops in it. I mean I would not be I would not think I was treated unfairly if I pulled an 8-bit mic from Stranger Things in a $12 hit or miss box, right? It goes to the territory. But if I'm doing a 2-pop box, I'm also trying not to just put all of my likes in it, right? Like I know that I don't care for, my son does, but I don't care for anime pops, and I mean, there's a couple of, I guess the television pops. Like, there's a couple that I like, but overall as a line, I'm like, all right, whatever, right? But just because I would see a 2-pop box that I put together have 2 pops that I wouldn't necessarily want in it, doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't. And so I struggle with that kind of, those mental gymnastics quite a bit when I'm putting stuff together and trying to get a whole run together that's also guaranteed value, that's also, chaseable pop, and that's also not impacting the collection that I want to keep, like my Mandalorian set, stand-up comedians, that kind of thing. So it truly is an art form, and I'm always fascinated to hear how other people do it.
I almost have anxiety now just when people tag me like, hey, I got your box and I did a video. Now I'm like, oh, what if they hate it? Like now it's like now I get like anxiety about, oh great. It's be like somebody, a huge YouTuber is gonna buy it and they're gonna be like, oh, Cody sucks. And it's I always worry about that, but for the most part, they always seem to go pretty well.
Well, the box we got from you, like I said, we really enjoyed it. We thought it was great, and you really went above and beyond by sending us that extra 3rd pop when the value wasn't where you thought it should be, which was totally unnecessary. So I really appreciate that. And that brings me to the next question, which is the Funko community itself. How impressed have you been with the people that kind of surround you? And the extended family, if you will, the people that kind of watch you that you don't really know very well, but everyone kind of seems like there's jerks in every circle. I get that, but this community in particular seems to be very embracing and very supportive of one another, as opposed to competitive.
No, I think so. I think a lot of people have their individual goals, but for the most part, is I probably talk to more Funko people than I talk to my own family, and I probably get along with a lot more the Funko people in my family too. So that's funny. That's fun too. So it's everybody's got their own goals, and I know people have numbers and stuff. I think people get caught up on the numbers too much. They get caught up on the subscriber numbers. I'm like, take all that away. What would you do different? Would you do something different and keep doing what you're doing? Don't care about the trying to get to this number or that number. Just do what you're doing, because I tell people this all. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. But I tell people like, look, if you're doing this because you think you're going to make a ton of money off of one day, you're probably not. I'll say, so just do it to have fun. If something happens, you get opportunities with it, then great.
My last question for you, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for taking time out to do this. My last question is about the influence of others. Who are some of the channels that you started watching when you first started out, and then who are some of the channels that have kind of maybe not propped you up, but kind of have been with you through the ride, right? Like that have really kind of just supported you and just done a number in your atmosphere.
I think and this is like no joke. Like when I would watch stuff at the beginning, I purposefully didn't watch a lot of YouTubers because I was scared that if I watched all these people, I was going to implement and do things just like they do.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm just one of the kind of people, like, if I'm going to do this and put time into it, it's gotta be my way. So, but I started, like, I would watch, like I watch the popular people, and I was like, because you got to learn from them. They're obviously doing something right. So I go and search who's doing stuff. I came across, like Franchise Kicks, Dr. Applesauce, the big guys, even back then, over a year ago when I started, they were all kind of popular. And, to kind of answer your question, like who've latched on to and stuff, man, like there's been a lot of people. I don't leave anybody out. I know the first big group that I was in, that really kind of reached out to me and was like, hey, maybe we should do stuff together. When I kind of joined up with the PWO, where we did the Pot World Order, which was me, Ty Lock, UAM, or Homespun Geek, UAM Collectibles, for people who maybe don't know. Fritzy was a great guy. And we kind of all just clicked together. And luckily, the people like, Adam from Beer to Pop, when I was like starting out, has helped me a ton. people like, me and Dr. Applesauce have done a video together, and that was like something, if you told me a year ago that would happen, I was like, no. And like the crazy stuff was the game show now has like, I have so much fun doing that. I'm like, if one
It's
people
awesome.
watch
We
it,
have a lot of fun watching it. So
yeah. I was like, if one watched it and 30 watched it, oh, I'd probably still do it. But it's like, man, the people who we've got to meet, talk to, the musicians, it's been crazy.
well, hey man, just keep up the great work. Be yourself. I think that's your message here, is be authentic to who you are and make it your own, and just learn as you go. That's what we did. I mean, I know I watched Franchise Kicks as well, Pop Savage at the beginning, Nerdy Noob as well, and those are the three we started with. And when I watched them, I realized that I would start to wonder back, what was the value of that first pop? I don't remember what the value of that first pop was, because they'll tell you and they'll put it on the screen. Oh, it's $41 or whatever. But by the fourth or fifth pop in a 6-pop box, I couldn't remember where they were at. And so I was like, hey, if we start, I want to be able to have them all on the screen. And so I just started to try to tweak things, not to make their ideas better, because like you said, they're doing something right. But just to make it like, okay, well, I wanted to see this as an end user, and so I'm going to put that into ours, and hopefully it strikes a chord. So I'm with you on that.
I like the layout and the different camera angles and stuff that you do, because it makes it unique looking for sure. So keep up that. That's cool.
Oh, thank you very much. That came out of necessity, as most good ideas do. They came out of necessity. We were too far away from the actual camera we were using to hold it up real close there.
Yeah.
And so we said, okay, well, I got to put a camera here, and then I can kind of show it to that. And so it just born out of necessity. So I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you saying that. Cody, man, thank you so much again. You guys can follow him on Instagram at Popular Opinion YouTube, all one word. And just go check out his link tree there and subscribe to his channel, all that, if you're not already. Cody, thank you so much for doing this, man. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you. Have a good night.